A technique I'd like to recommend to you that addresses relevancy, authenticity, and meaningfulness is something I call motivational objectives. In order to understand this, to be able to use it well, you need to understand two preconditions, and they are scaffolding and control and responsibility. Let's take a look at scaffolding first. In order for learning to stick, it must relate to something that you already know. Let's take for an example that we were build a bridge and we would go down to the river and we would try to set this up, but it was too short, it didn't reach the banks. It would splash into the water and be gone. Learning's like that. If it doesn't stick to something that you already know, it fades away. If I said to you the word zip fiddle, give me an example of that, you'd have a blank stare on your face because it doesn't stick to anything in your mind. But if I said to you elephant, there's a word that you have a lot of files on. It's stuck in your mind. It's stuck in your mind in a lot of ways. Color, smell. There's a lot of different ways that it's in your mind and you never forget that. So the important thing about relevancy is that it needs to stick to something that's already in your mind. A second condition to consider in this technique is control, responsibility that leads to engagement. Let us say that we're working on a project together and your responsibility is to get us from A to B. When it comes time to move to B, you haven't made arrangements for that. So we don't get to B, we fail. You had control of that, you had responsibility for that, and that was something that you engaged. But since I had no control over that or no responsibility there, I didn't engage in it. Let's apply this to the classroom. There are at least 5 conditions or factors in every classroom. One of them is subject, assessment, media, time, place, and pace of the course, and also the relationship between the students and the students and the students and the faculty member. In most cases, the faculty member has total control over all those aspects. Control, responsibility are not in the student's hand. So this technique directly relates to that. Give control for part of the course, let's say the subject, over to the students. How do you do this? Multiple ways that you could do this. One way that you could do this is at the beginning of the class, ask the students to write the course objectives in words that have meaning for them. The value of this is that it starts where they're at and they're able to scaffold and have responsibility and therefore engagement in that process. There are at least 2 benefits to this technique. One of them has to do with scaffolding. It builds from where a student's at, for something that they already know, into the direction of something that they don't know. The other one is about control. You give them control, therefore responsibility, therefore engagement to the student in rewriting the course objectives. They'll rewrite these objectives in terms that they understand, building upon, scaffolding upon something that they already know. The other benefit is to the faculty member. As the student develops these course objectives, the faculty member can assess how well they're understanding the objectives of the course and make adjustments. I call this technique motivational objectives. I recommend you give it a try.